of Joseph. Mormon, and my husband now watches Stick of Joseph because I kept pushing him towards Stick of Joseph. And they created an offshoot called Latter Daily Saints recently, where they cover things daily instead of. That's odd. That's odd. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me end. Am I streaming or not? Is my internet messed up? Okay, because what is going on with my internet? Okay, maybe I'm back now. Okay, my internet just messed up for a second and flashed before me and said, look, you're not streaming. You're paused. Okay, but now everything looks right. Anyways, I turned my husband on to Stick of Joseph, and now he's been watching them for the last maybe year. What turned my husband on to the Stick of Joseph was I did watch their 6-hour video that they did with Mormon Stories podcast John DeLynn, and after I made my husband watch that 6 hours, but it was so worth it because the way they handled John DeLynn just got my husband to start watching them and trusting them. Because I don't trust every streamer out there and not every LDS streamer out there. And let's talk about it, because I want to get into this because it ties into everything I have been covering for months, or for a year now, actually, almost a year now. This July will make it 1 year that I have been covering this on TikTok. Corrupt Utah, our corrupt judicial system, but I have not exactly brought the LDS Church into it. And here we go, though. Let's see. I'm also going to, for a minute, be on TikTok with you guys. We're going to dual do this. Okay. So, there's these guys in Salem, Oregon, who had these Lego. His dad has been collecting Star Wars Legos forever. He's got all these sets that you can't get anymore. I don't believe in it. I grew up in the Beanie Baby age. I don't believe it. So anyways, last night I came across, I watch everything Sobering Stories brings up. Hold on a sec. Every time I screw up on TikTok. Okay, hold on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I cover crime. And I've covered crime since, was it 2023? Because at first I started, oh my God, I do psychology. I started off as psychology, it led into gaming, and now I do crime. And so when I watch other people cover crime, it's hard for me sometimes because, especially when I covered Gypsy Rose for a year and a half, anybody who covered Gypsy Rose and I watched them, it was like, are you covering her correctly, or are you going with the general narrative that has been spun? And because I do my research, so it's like when I watch other people, it's like, oh, I can tell if they've done their research or not. And I've always loved Sobering Stories, and I still do. And I made a comment last night on there, and I'll show you in a minute the comment. But because I respect sobering stories. There are LDS people who are recovering addicts too. Not LDS people aren't perfect at all. And he does his homework. And no matter how much ChatGPT and AI and Google will tell you that Preston Bush is not a bad guy and the Bushes were not bad people, and it's a conspiracy theory that George Bush and his brother are behind 9/11, I suggest going and watching Sobering Stories because, and also, who is it that covers it? Sunday Cool covers these stories too, and I trust Sunday Cool. They're not LDS, but they're a very Christian group, so they don't swear, and they really, really do their homework, and they tell you if they don't know, they don't know. They tell you that, and I respect anybody who says I don't know, rather than make up a story like, this is why I don't like the Gypsy Girls community, because there's certain people on there like Nina and stuff that will just make up parts of the story. Astro Trippy, all them guys, Sir Morbid, they all make up parts of the story to get. And so when I saw them covering this, and I had to step in and say, okay. Mormons are not perfect. I know some really, really great ones. There's some really, really great ones in my neighborhood, in an old neighborhood I lived up in Davis County. There are some really, really, really great LDS people. And then there are the corrupt ones. And the power that they have. Oh my gosh. Joseph Smith warned us that any man, woman, could abuse their power. And Joseph Smith knew that men could not handle power. And I could look up that phrase. It's in the DNC. I love that phrase where he talks about, look, this corruption, even LDS people can be corrupt. Joseph Smith knew that and spoke to that, and he never stood up for corrupt saints. They even excommunicated a guy who was going around. And anyways, that's not part of the story. So this guy is trying to get his father's Lego set back, or the money back, or something. And this company is pulling all the stops of, well, it's not our responsibility. We just took over the store. That was with the old owners, blah, blah, blah. They're in Oregon. They tracked down the owner of the store here in American Fork, Utah. And all they're running into is Mormon police and Mormon corrupt system full of Mormon people. It's like, oh, let's look up this officer. Yep, he's LDS. Let's look up this officer. Yep, he's LDS. The owners are LDS. These people are LDS. There must be, if these members are LDS, then it's because they pay a huge amount of tithing and the church is covering for them. And no. They're going way too far with that, okay? Because the people, officers cover officers, and they sometimes back the wrong side of the law, and it's horrible. And the worst part is when you come into Utah and I was watching this thing the other day where somebody said the safest state to live in is Utah. And I wanted to be like, no. It's like, you guys keep thinking Utah's safe, and then you come here and it's not safe, and then you learn it's not safe, and then you get down on the LDS church because it's the LDS church's fault. Well, people, and then I laugh because then there's Exmos out there like Alyssa and Life Take Two, who's like, oh, the Mormon church controlled every aspect of my life. They told me if I couldn't have a job. They told me I couldn't have this hairstyle. I couldn't do this. Okay, this is proof that the Mormon church does not control its members. Because I commented on Sobering Stories and told them, look, I will not argue with you that there are corrupt members that do these corrupt things, and they are horrible people. And they have temple recommends, and they are in our wards. And they sit next to you in church, and then they illegally do something to you under the color of law. And it's horrible. And I will not deny that. But bishops don't care, stake presidents don't care, and the upper people, the top 15, don't care. They're not going to come down and they're not going to do anything. They're not going to be punished. They're not going to be, their temple recommends are not going to be taken away. They're not going to be controlled. The church is not going to do anything about it, okay? You have to blame the member. And if you tell their bishop or their stake president, you can kind of somewhat blame them because... But in my dealings, anytime I have been abused in the church or anything, and I have called somebody's bishop, the bishop has always backed up that person and has never, ever, ever, ever once helped the victim. And so, yes, bishops and stake presidents, whether they're corrupt or not, will cover up corrupt acts. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. And so these members, they have ultimate power and they get away with these things. Why? Because we're not as controlled as the Exmos tell you we are. Sometimes I sit there and I say, I wish we were everything the Exmos say. I wish we were so controlled in that way. We're not a controlled cult. And sometimes I say, it's better this way. Because this is the harder road when you're living your trial, that the people are corrupt and you have to deal with the corrupt people. I wish I had recorded when they took our children and they said, oh, we know we're lying to take your children. I wasn't smart enough to record them then. And these are LDS people, and the judge is LDS, and the lawyers are LDS, and the DCFS caseworkers are all LDS. And you're standing in a courtroom, and you're LDS, and you're in a full room of LDS people, and they know they're lying. They're not taking your Legos. They're using the courts to take your children. A church that prides themselves in family, they're taking your children. And nobody in the church is doing anything about it. And so, yeah, I'm sorry that these Legos are taken, and nobody deserves to be robbed of anything. Their possessions, God sees it all. Well, especially children. Any crime against children, when you illegally keep children from going home, God views that even worse. And our church should view that even worse. That these members are using our court systems. And the church has lawyers, and this last Sunday we talked about the Constitution, and some lawyers got up there from the church and talked, and what upset me was they are business lawyers, they are contract lawyers, they are civil lawyers, they are not family lawyers, they are not criminal lawyers. I don't know any lawyer in the LDS church is criminal or family. And so, of course, they don't know the corruption. And when they hear the corruption, they don't believe it and they don't care and they overlook it. My stake president is a lawyer. My bishop is a family practitioner. It's the only reason why I got my temple recommend back is because they believe me and my husband. And they don't have to just believe us. One's a lawyer and one's a doctor. They can see that these church people lied. So I'm going to go more in depth into this on YouTube because Talkie's up, but this is insane. And this Utah's court system, unfortunately, is extremely corrupt. And they're breaking apart families. And they're causing all this drama and all this pain, and they don't care because the money flows to them. They get to keep all the money. They're keeping all the money of the Lego sets. They keep all the money of the federal funding when they take your children. They get all these bonuses and benefits, and they get to live in their big houses in Utah County and Draper and things like that down there in all the big areas. They live in Stansbury, which all these posh places, because the money flows up. You will find all these people that are corrupt in the court system. You will find them all living in posh areas, and you will find them all lying, and they will admit that they're lying. And the other thing I didn't get around to on the TikTok video was talking about, I have spoken to 2 legislatures now in Utah, one that covers my county, who said, yes, I know DCFS lies. And then she pointed me to an audit that they just finished in January 2026. And they're giving DCFS 1 year to change because they are abusing children. They're causing children to be abused. And they literally state, and I could pull it up on here. They literally state that innocent families. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. Utah Legislature 2026. Not bills, but audits. I want audits. I want everything they've audited. And all this has to be public. And the problem is the public doesn't know where to go to look this up. And the public doesn't know how to look this up. And the public doesn't know to look this up. They don't know that they can sit here all day on their computer and find the corruption. All they have to do is look it up. Let's see. Trying to find where I will take a shortcut on this. Hold on. Okay. I might have it saved. I don't know. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. Here we go. Here's the audit. I pulled it up. Got it. There's a way around everything to find things. Oh, if ChatGPT goes down, I don't know what I'm going to do. He's my quick way to look at everything, but I'll admit that. I will admit that. Okay, here we go. Utah, I'm going to go to page 36, okay? Because that's where, okay, watch this. We also observed cases where the division supported a finding of abuse against parents despite having insufficient evidence to do so. When one of the parents challenged the finding, the division overturned it, citing in its records that it lacked adequate evidence to have drawn the conclusions. These cases demonstrate that poor investigative work and policy violations can also lead to unfair actions against families. This is a misuse of the division's authority, forcing innocent families to spend significant time and money to defend themselves. And these are this is all across every county in Utah. The legislature I talked to, whatever his name is, I'm not going to show his number on social media and his name. I'm not going to show his name and number. If you're in Utah and you want to contact me and get a hold of me and talk to the legislature yourself, that's fine. But anyways, they told me exactly how many people they pulled and pulled for this. One of the things they're talking about in here is how caseworkers have gone rogue. Supervisors aren't supervising. Caseworkers are doing whatever they want. And this is Utah, and this is your LDS people at their finest, at their work. They're not just stealing Legos. They're stealing kids and families and time and money. Child support goes directly to the judge. That's Title 4D funding. Title 4B and F and E go to an A, help out the division. A is supposed to help out families, but they pick and choose when they want to help out families, but they have the federal funding to do so, but they don't want to do it. Sometimes they just don't want to do it. Sometimes they want to just... And I could show you transcripts where my lawyer stated to the judge... Let's see, let me look this up. So I can show you transcripts. Federal court. I gotta find these transcripts real quick. Wait, it's gonna be in appeals court. me my appeals court, because I paid hundreds of dollars, kid you not. This is where the time and money comes in, to get these official transcripts. So these are not transcribed by me and AI. This is officially transcribed. This is officially transcribed by the courts themselves. We paid lots of money to get this done. Okay, let's see. Let me change the screen. Replace. Screen share. Not that one. Okay, why is it not wanting to share this part of the screen with me? Replace. Screen share. Huh. Or front one. Oh, window. Maybe it's this one. Okay, window. Let's share this. Window. Okay, so we're going to go, let me look up, control find the word lie. Let me look at the word lie. Flies, clients. This transcript is currently in appeals court being looked over. Maybe I can look up, okay, control find. Okay, and then as far as the psychological release of the information, this is my lawyer talking. I will acknowledge that my client, she's talking about me, would testify that she does have trust issues with DCFS right now. She feels like she voluntarily did these medical appointments, and then these children are ripped away from her when she was told that that wouldn't happen. She asked to have counsel present at a child and family team meeting and was admonished that if she didn't show up, that she would be found in contempt. I have those text messages, by the way. And when she said, well, this isn't a court proceeding, how could I be found in contempt? Just getting told, like, don't act like this, Rose. This didn't pan out for you well last time. I have that text message. I mean, she's got some toxic issues between her and DCFS, and we haven't even got to the point where there's a release of information that needs to be signed because there's no report yet. See, there's no report yet. And she did agree for DCFS to provide collateral information so that they blah, blah, blah. But she does have trust issues. She's struggling, and certainly if we end up not signing that release of information, that might be very indicative to DCFS and the court what that says. So they're saying, like, they're forcing me to sign an ROI that I don't want to sign. These weren't court-ordered evals, by the way, either. These were done of our own accord with our own psychologist. But for her to want to have an opportunity to look at that before she signs it, because she is struggling with feelings like she was cooperating and helping and doing things voluntarily, and just out of the blue felt like these kids were taken away from her. That has been extremely hard on her, and so I just wanted to briefly respond. Okay, and then no, it goes sooner. Like, there's reasons should be offered. See, she's telling us, she's saying you need to offer these, but I think a lot of these arguments actually prove the point that they shouldn't, and it's parents' responsibility to take them. Let's see. What's stopping them before, what is going to be different now, and DC, and what's going to be different if the parents have left to take care of them by themselves again, and all history shows that we use just in the exact same. You can try to put response. Okay, I don't know what lawyer's talking. I don't think that's my lawyer talking right now. No, this is my lawyer down here. That's the opposing counsel saying that, oh, if we give the kids back, they're not going to take them to all their doctors. Well, yeah, we are. But see, if you say no to a doctor, your kids get taken. See, I did not feel the school was providing services that my kids needed academically. My daughter was in the 6th grade on a 1st grade reading. I don't know. But anyways, there is something where she does say, plan is in the August deadline, but did not come in time. But there was nothing showing that my client wouldn't have been. So I lost the text message that proves what she's saying here. I don't have that one anymore. So I just want to keep the court aware of that. And then as far as, okay, yeah. I think earlier, I know she said something about them lying. Okay, that's the opposing lawyer talking. Anyways, I don't know. They lie. People know they lie. I can't find it. I know they said it in there. But you can see where they talk about it. I have these text message proof of they said, "Oh, we're not going to take your kids, Rosie. We don't want to take your kids." Oh, but then they did. And so everybody in my case was LDS. And this is the most frustrating thing is an LDS coming back to the church after being very inactive for around 15 years, going to church off and on. One of the officers was even in our ward. I commented on Sobering Stories channel about this. I tried to be like as gentle and as nice as I possibly could because okay, let's see. But I do like the way that Sobering Stories does cover this, but Latter Day Saints actually adds in video footage that they did not have. And so I saw some more extent to this Lego story. I saw a bigger extension to this Lego story. About how the guy promised to give the Legos back and then didn't. That sounds familiar about how people act here in Utah, promising to give something back and then not doing it. Huh. That sounds crazy familiar, like I said, like promising to give something back. Legos, kids, all of it is just possession to these people. Doesn't matter if it's Legos, doesn't matter if it's kids, it doesn't matter what it is. This is just material possessions that bring them money. He's not going to let these Lego sets go because there's like 60 to 100K left worth of these Lego sets. And I bet you some of them are in his home. I bet you some of them are not even in the store. I bet he took some and he's like, no, because I don't want to pay for these. So I'm not going to give them back. I bet you if the cops search his home, they might find some of the Lego sets. But sadly, the American Fork cops are siding with the business guys. And they are protecting. And this is the unfortunate part about how law is. They protect whoever's home you're standing in. So they're standing at this Josh Johnson guy's house, which, gosh, why does that name sound familiar? Like Life Take Two talked about. Is Josh Johnson just a popular name here in Utah? Because I remember Life Take Two talking about a Josh Johnson. And why was she talking about a Josh Johnson? But I do remember that name being thrown out, but I don't think that's her ex. Because her ex lives in Tucson. So Josh Johnson, I think maybe she dated him before she got married, maybe, or something like that. But Life Takes Two does talk about somebody named Josh Johnson. And I'm trying to think. It's been a long time since I watched her channel. And so, I don't know. I just know that That name is probably popular here in Utah. Johnson is a very popular last name. And well, among Mormons, Josh is a popular last name because it's in the Bible, even though it's like Yahshua in the Bible, how you say it in Hebrew. But Joshua is the way we pronounce it here in English, so it's a very popular name. Like everybody's got a son named Josh. I know multiple Mormons named Josh, by the way. It just happens. So maybe it's not the same Josh Johnson. Unless Life Take Two starts making a video and saying, yep, that's my Josh Johnson. Maybe I'll watch for that. I don't know. She'll be like, yeah, that's my Josh Johnson. He's corrupt. So anyways, I don't know. I just want to make a quick video on my opinion of this is I agree with you guys. This is absolutely the most frustrating thing, is holding on to your faith, going to the temple all the time, being active in the LDS church while either watching the corruption or being at the tail end of the corruption, where you're the one that they're going after. I mean, I am so proud of Utah for stepping up about the data centers and this Lego situation. But could we please think about stepping up for our families and our children and family courts? I know people in Davis County, Utah County, Summit County, Tooele County. I haven't really run too much into Salt Lake County yet. I haven't run into Salt Lake County too much yet. But I do know 2 legislatures that will verify that DCFS is corrupt, that they lie, and there's many more. Because let's see, I've spoken about these. I have spoken about these, and if there was not corruption in Utah, I promise you these wouldn't need to be happening. Okay, so I'm going to show you something real quick. And this is so easy to go to. Ugh. I hate this. The restream's a little bit difficult. Okay, let's see. Share screen. There we go. Okay, bill tracker. So this is really easy. If you look up Utah Legislature bill, and I'm going to go to, okay, hold on, Utah Legislature. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Utah Legislature bills 2026. There we go. General session. This is what I'm looking for. Bills. You go up here to, oh, my screen went away again. Okay, here we go. Okay. You go up here to bills. You hit bills, and then go to your 2026 general session. And I'm going to go down to, so there's a couple bills to look at. Okay, HR is a different thing. HR, oh my gosh, how do I look at more of these? Okay, these are 2026, right? Okay, HR, okay, House Bill, I think it's 372. Okay, is it this one? Yes. 372. And I showed this back in March on TikTok. Okay, this is how you get to it. These are the people that cover the bill. I have not spoken to them yet. I am on track 2. I want to give her a thumbs up for this bill. Okay, guardian ad litems, this is their job. Okay, this is the bill. Everything in red is what they're changing to the bill. They are making guardian ad litems do their job. And they wouldn't have to do this if guardian ad litems were doing their job. So what are they doing? so it modifies the responsibility of the director of the office of the guardian ad litem. It requires an attorney guardian ad litem to inform the court each hearing, which they're failing to do this, whether the minor expressed a desire to attend the hearing and of the date the attorney guardian ad litem's last interaction with the minor. Because for the first 2 years, at least 2 years into my case, the guardian ad litem never met my children. They only spoke to the placement, never the children. And they did whatever the placement said, not the children, not what the children wanted. And my children are above the age of 14, which they can attend court. So as of May 6th, this went into effect, but my case closed on February 5th. So this makes it a little bit harder, but not for appeals, not if the appeals judge calls us into court. If the appeals judge calls us into court, this is fully into effect. The guardian ad litem has to meet with my children, and 2 of them are 14 and above. Address when the guardian ad litem is appointed, which mine was never appointed. And I showed that to the appeals court and federal court. Mine was not appointed. She just showed up. So the judge literally has to say, I appoint you to represent these children, or it's not real. Adjust the responsibilities and obligation of attorney and guardian ad litem, directs the court to consider the best interest of the minor when the context of the principles and provisions in section blah, blah, blah. So they're saying, do better, guardian ad litems, do better. You're not doing your job. Now report you're doing your job to the judge in live court. I want to give her a thumbs up for that one. See, these are easy to look up. I went through every one of these one by one, not just their names. And if it had anything to do with family court, I clicked on it. And so it took me, I went through these. It took time. I think it's HJR I was looking for. Okay, HJR 12. I spoke to her. I have her phone number. Also, this is where the good Mormons come in, okay? There's a lady in my ward who knows her cousin who has dinner with her all the time, and she told her that she would tell Nicolene Peck that I am a really good person and I deserve to be listened to. And we had a good conversation, me and my husband and Nicolene Peck, and I have text with her. And this is where there are good Mormons in our legislature, but she can only do so much because the legislature branch cannot touch. So she's doing the Strong Families Act. This is more for divorce. I told her we need to talk more about DCFS, and then she's the one who led me to the audit. To the audit. And so these are not hard to look up in your state to see what's going on in your state. I guess we got a 2027 now. Okay, there's nothing listed in 2027. But so this is everything that's kind of going on in your state. You can just sit here on one website and look it up. And find out all the changes in the House bills and House joint resolutions and everything that your legislature is up to. And so I emailed the people, and they emailed me back, and they said, call this guy. He'll talk to you about. And then I talked to him, and he was a really nice, great guy. If I hadn't had a federal case open, he would have helped me more. Hi, Rowdy. How are you doing? He would have helped me more had I had a federal case open, or had not had a federal case open. Because apparently legislatures can look at DCFS documents unredacted. And I have this problem with DCFS redacted 3.5 pages of my case. The reason why they took my children is 3.5 redacted pages that they will not allow the courts to see. They will not allow the judge to see. They wouldn't allow my lawyer to see. I got these from my lawyer, and they were redacted. 3.5. Who redacts 3.5 pages? Who redacts 3.5 pages? That's insane. And this is basically the judicial system. It's frustrating. Don't even get me into criminal court where innocent people take plea deals all the time. Innocent people are in prison. And there are people out there who don't believe that our cops do anything wrong. They don't believe that there are innocent people in prison. I just saw and I covered this while I was covering the Gypsy Rose case and looking into Missouri. I found out about this case that happened, I think it was early 2025, maybe 2025. Guy was exonerated. He took an Alford plea back in the 80s that he did not unalive this lady, and they kept the evidence. And years later, DNA exonerated him. His DNA was not on the knife, and they took it to court. And instead of Missouri admitting we did wrong and releasing the guy was in prison for life. He was not on death row. Because the Alford plea let him be on death row and claim his innocence, but he was serving time as if he was guilty, which is, Alford pleas are really weird, by the way. They're very weird. And so this guy, you know what the judge does? The judge puts him on death row and executes him 2 weeks later. 2 weeks. After he's exonerated with blood evidence, they take him off life, put him on death row, and execute him right away. And so this poor guy lost his life, and he's innocent. And then you won't even get into the Gypsy Rose case where she gets only 10 years. She only serves 10 years because it was a political thing. Nobody wanted to see this poor girl who, yeah, with the freak. I know, Rowdy. This is our judicial system. It's not just Mormons, it's our judicial system. Cops will cover cops, and they will do whatever they want for political reasons. Even, like I said, execute a guy who was just found innocent. Let me see if I can find his case. Let's see. Missouri. I think it was in 2025. Yeah, the lawyer just left the court building thinking, what the hey? Let's see, is it? Yeah. So Missouri set to execute. Okay, why didn't it didn't change? Hold on a second. Let me show you this. Okay. Replace. Let's see. Let me show you this. This is unreal. Oh, Brian. Okay. Didn't recognize your name, Rowdy. Cool. Welcome. Okay, so Missouri death row inmate set to be executed Tuesday in the 1998 fatal. Former reporter maintains his innocence, that he's never been forensically linked to the killing. Marcellus Williams, 55, is said to become the third inmate executed in Missouri this year and the 5th or 16th in the nation, depending upon whether he's declared before or after Travis James, another inmate set for execution in Texas on the same day. 2 or more back-to-back executions in Alabama and Oklahoma on Thursday. Williams was convicted, a former reporter, for fatally during a burglary in a home she shared with her husband. The St. Louis County Prosecutor Office supports Williams' claim of innocence and recently filed a motion to vacate his conviction, a move approved by a county trial judge but quickly contested by Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. The case was tossed back to the same judge for hearing on September 12th. On Monday, Missouri Governor Mike Parson, Williams in his execution. Meanwhile, those who believe Williams is innocent continue to fight for a reprieve. On the morning of, Gail was in the shower when police broke into her home on a private gate. The 42-year-old man left the second floor, walking downstairs when the police encountered Williams landing at the same point in the kitchen. Later that night, Gail's husband found his wife. Among the evidence, the police collected shoe prints, fingerprints, a knife. A suspect was not immediately named. So basically, this guy is black, and he gets black guys in hoodies get arrested wrongfully all the time. Interesting. Let's see. The death of William's older brother bothered him since his brother had been father. The same. Okay, William's attorney represented evidence that he was caring, loving father. Several of William's family members and friends, including his son and stepdaughter, testified about William's positive relationship with the children, said that his execution would have a significant effect on his family. Both lethal injections were halted due to further DNA testing. So he's had a couple days of execution, but then they went forward with it. Because the attorney general, the corrupt attorney general, don't even get me started on attorney generals. They work for the governor. They do whatever the governor wants. It's insane what happens in our court systems. And so this is the hard part, because what's going on with the Lego case is exactly what goes on with family court and everything else. They take you into family court. They know the judge is going to believe the prosecution side automatically. They know that court is going to take time and money, and they will do whatever it takes. They will do extensions, they will do this, they will do that, they will drag it out. They will financially and emotionally beat you down until you say, I can't take anymore, and you walk away and you take whatever deal they give you, and whatever. And that's what's happening, is they've threatened this guy saying, look, we're going to take you to court because we have the money to. You don't. I don't know. Oh my gosh, $100K worth of Lego sets. How is it? See, this is why I think there's some in their house that they want these Lego sets, because there's no way that they are going to exceed the money also. Like, this is absolutely insane, right? That they're going to exceed the money that the Legos are worth to take this guy to court. Like, it's all just insane. So yeah, I posted a comment. Did it get taken down? Maybe it did. Did he take it down? I don't see my comment. What's up?
15-minute warning.
For what? Oh, is it early today or something?
You already told early today.
You didn't tell me that. Whatever. I'm thinking 5 o'clock like normal. You want to take the mutts out real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, guys.
I don't see my comment. Okay. Oh, maybe. You know what? Oh, no. Yeah, I got 2 doggies. They need to go out because we're getting ready to go to the temple. Do you mind comment get taken down? Yeah, I gotta. I guess my husband set an earlier appointment. I was expecting that I had till 5 o'clock. I thought I had till 5. I need to get up and stream on. I tried to play that game, Don't Starve Together. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get to learn that game. I tried to play it a little bit the other day just to see. I watched some YouTube videos on it just to learn about that game so we could play that together. Because I'm like, I need to learn about Don't Starve Together. Because apparently, I was looking up. What do you call it? Ugh, those style of games, cozy games. And everybody's like, Don't Starve Together. It's kind of like a cozy game. It's like Stardew Valley. And it's like, how is it like Stardew Valley? Because I can't make it past day 5. I think I made it to maybe day 5 a couple of times. And that was about it. Anyways, I hope I covered this enough. I don't know if I did. My thoughts are all jumbled, and oh, I just want Utah to pull together and let's fight this data center. Let's fight this Lego thing. Let's fight the justice, the courts. Like, everybody needs to be calling their legislature because everything needs to be just ripped down badly. The power that people have and what they get away with is amazing. And judges ignore anything that comes from the defense side. Everything my lawyer said totally got ignored. Just totally. But I appreciate Sobering Stories and Stick of Joseph, aka Latter Daily Saints, for covering this story. Yes, you did give me that game. I appreciate them covering this story and the amount they went in to cover this story and the amount that Jackson went into getting further details on this story. So if you watch both of them, you get the full story because there's some parts that Jackson minimally goes over, and there that Sobering Stories goes into depth about, and there's vice versa. There's things that Jackson goes into that Sobering Stories is not going to. So watch both of them because you'll get both sides of the story. And I'm proud of Latter Daily Saints for recognizing the corruption in the members, because I thought at first that they would just be LDS people that would cover for the church, because they live in Utah, but I highly doubt they've literally been in the corruption. They see these stories, but I highly doubt they ran into the corruption. Hugs to you too, Brian. I will see you later. I will try and get up and stream tomorrow morning. I'm not a morning person anymore. I need to get back to being a morning person. I am so not a morning person anymore. But I do want to get back to. You guys can find me on Twitch. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me here on the YT, YouTube. Pretty much everywhere. I'm everywhere. So I'm going to get going. But I love you guys. Let's watch this story and see where it goes. And Utah, let's do some bigger fighting. And also check out, if you want to know about the deepest corruption, I always recommend what is that? What are they called? I know their names. They're an LDS couple that covers the other kind of corruption in Utah County and southern Salt Lake County, and the deep satanic corruption. Content warning if you watch them. We the People Utah. That's what they're called. We the People Utah. They've tried to interview Governor Cox about smart cities and stuff. They've tried to go to the Capitol building and get after this. So, but content warning. Very triggering. when they talk about what's really going on, you don't want to know. Content warning if you look them up. So, if you get triggered by hearing abuse to children and it's harsh to hear, just content warning. That's all I'm saying. Content warning. Great channel. Just content warning.